Fruit production is one of the important and remunerative branches of horticulture. Cultivation of fruit crops plays an important role in the prosperity of any nation. It is generally stated that standard of living of a people can be judged by per capita production and consumption of fruits. Some fruit crops are long duration perennial crops like coconut, cashew nut, mango, sapota, jackfruit, orange, etc. Some other fruits like banana, papaya and pineapple are the prominent short duration fruit crops. Scope of fruit production. Fruits meet the dietary requirements of human being. Fruits are the rich sources of dietary fiber, energy, vitamins and minerals. For example, mango, papaya and jackfruit have the important constituents, the beta carotene, which is the precursor of vitamin A. It requires moderate irrigation facilities. Compared to some other crops like sugarcane, fruit cultivation requires moderate irrigation facilities, thus saving the water requirement as a whole. Increasing urbanization and change in food habits. Increasing availability and supply has increased demands for fruits. Changes in food habits is also being noticed due to education and assured income, which has helped in increasing demand for the fruit crops. Development of allied facilities. Along with the increase in fruit production, the allied industries also developed to support reaching of fruit to the consumers, such as transport industry, fruit processing and packing industry and cold storage. Export potentiality. There is a good scope or export of grapes, mango, banana, pomegranate, citrus, burr, cashew to Gulf and European markets. The availability of these markets would increase area under these crops. The government incentives. Say, Government of India encourages the fruit cultivation through many schemes and facilities under the National Horticultural Mission. Importance of horticulture as a national issues. Say, planting of trees helps to maintain ecological balance and to increase precipitation of the locality. Such plantations also generate money. Fruit tree farming reduces soil erosion, silting tanks and air pollution. Then fruit tree farming being intensive and skillful enterprise, it generates employment for both skilled and unskilled persons. Now we will see the horticulture in terms of economic importance. Horticulture gives higher yield per unit area. For example, well maintained and well established orchards bring better returns than many of the field crops. From a unit area of land, more yield and income are realized than any of the agronomic crops. The average yield of papaya and banana are 10 to 15 times more than agriculture crops. Out of the total area under cultivation, grain crops account for 72% with the production of 210 million tons, whereas fruit crops yield over 60 million tons only from 0.70% of the total area under cultivation. Then horticulture or food crops provide higher net profit. Though the initial cost of establishment of an orchard is high, it is compensated by higher productivity or high value of the produce. In cashew nut, though the average per tree yield is less, say 4 to 5 kg per plant, its market value is very high. For example, 200 to 250 rupees per kilo. Thus, it fetches higher economic returns, say about 800 to 1000 rupees per plant. Some of the example I can quote is, say in the case of wheat, the production value from 1 hectare is 18,000 to 24,000, whereas in the case of groundnut, which is an agriculture crop, it is only 20,000, whereas grapes from a hectare, the production value will be 2,40,000. From banana from 1 hectare, the production value will be nearly 1 lakh. In the case of sweet oranges, it is 60,000, which means horticulture crops or the fruit crops are paying more than the agriculture crops. Raw material for agro-based industries. Fruit farming provide raw materials for various agro-based industries like canning and preservation of the fresh fruits, etc. Efficient utilization of resources. Agriculture crops are seasonal in nature and hence farmers have to engage themselves in other occupations during off season. But fruit growing is perennial in nature and enables growers to remain engaged throughout the year in farm operations and utilize full the resources and assets like machinery, land, water for production purposes throughout the year. Utilization of waste and barren lands for production. Although most of the fruit crops require good soils for production, there are many fruit crops of hardy in nature like mango, bar, cashew, custard apple, avonilla, falsa, jamun, which are grown on poor, shallow, undulated soils which are considered unsuitable for growing grains or agriculture crops. Development of cashew and mango plantation on hill slopes where even ragi or nanchini cannot be grown have brought additional revenue to the growers. Now let us see the status of national and international scenario in terms of fruit production. 22 types of fruit crops like banana, mango, citrus are commercially grown. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka and Uttar Pradesh are the leading fruit producing states in India, which accounts for nearly 60% of the total production. Total area under fruit crop is about 7,500,000 hectares. The major fruits like banana, mango and citrus fruits contribute about 70% of total fruit production. India shares 1.33% of global fruit production and it is ranking in terms of second next to China in production. Now we will see the classification of fruits. See, pomology, which deals with the fruit crops and their cultivation, is a branch of horticulture. For a common man, fruit means a sweet, juicy or pulpy, colored, aromatic structure that encloses seeds. Botanically, a fruit develops from a ripe ovary or any floral parts. On the basis of floral parts they develop. Fruits may be true or false fruit. So, we will see what are all the true fruits. A true fruit or eucarp is a mature or ripened ovary developed after fertilization, example mango, maize, grape, etc. False fruit, a false fruit or a pseudocarp is derived from the floral parts other than ovary, example peduncle in cashew nut, thalamus in apple. Then jackfruit and pineapple are called multiple fruits as they develop from the entire inflorescence. Parthenocarpic fruits. There are many seedless fruits that are formed without any fertilization. This phenomenon is called parthenocarpy, example banana, and many seedless fruits such as grapes, oranges and watermelons are developed by horticulturists, which are parthenocarpic fruits. Then let us see now the morphology of a typical fruit. A fruit consists of pericarp and seeds. Seeds are fertilized and ripened ovules. The pericarp develops from ovary wall and may be dry or fleshy. When fleshy, pericarp is differentiated into outer epicarp, middle mesocarp and inner endocarp. Type of fruits. On the basis of the morphology of the fruits, fruits are usually classified into three main groups. One is simple, aggregate, the composite or multiple fruit. A simple fruit, here when a single fruit develops from a single ovary of a single flower, it is called simple fruit. The ovary may belong to a monocarpellary simple gynoecium or to the polycarpellary syncarpous gynoecium. Simple fruits are of two types, dry and fleshy. Dry fruits, these fruits are not fleshy and their pericarp or fruit wall is not distinguished into three layers. Three type of dry fruits are available, dehiscent fruits or it is called capsular fruits. The pericarp rupture after ripening and the seeds are disseminated. Example, brassicas or the cabbage group and the peas comes under this category. Second one is the indehiscent fruit, achenial fruits. Acheneal fruits are simple, indigent, single-seeded, having a thin, dry, woody or leathery pericarp. Pericarp of such fruits does not rupture on ripening and the seeds remain inside. For example, is the cashew nut. Then third one is the chisocarpic fruits, that is splitting fruits. These fruits may be considered intermediate between acheneal and capsular fruits. The fruit breaks up into a number of indigent single-seeded segments called mericarps, from which seeds are liberated only when pericarp gets rotten. Example, salvia, ocimum, etc. Then succulent fruits are the fleshy fruits. Here these simple fruits in which the pericarp is distinguished into epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Mesocarp is fleshy or fibrous. These fruits are indigent and seeds are liberated after the decay of the flesh. The simple fruits are of three types, namely drupe, pome and berry. Let us now see what is a drupe. The pericarp or the fruit wall is differentiated into thin epicarp, that is the skin, fleshy mesocarp and stony endocarp. Hence, it is also known as stone fruit. Example, mango, coconut, peach, almond, plums, etc. In mango, mesocarp is juicy and edible. In coconut, mesocarp is fibrous and edible part is endocarp. In almond, epicarp and mesocarp get peeled off and only hard endocarp can be seen in marketed fruits. The edible part is cotyledons. Second category is the pome. It is a simple, fleshy but false fruit as it is surrounded by a fleshy thalamus which is edible while actual fruit lies within it. Example, apple, pear, locust, etc. Berry. Berry is a fleshy fruit in which there is no hard part except the seeds. Pericarp may be differentiated into epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. One or the other of these layers may form pulp in which seeds are embedded, which generally gets detached from the placenta. The fruits derived from superior ovary are called superior or true berries as in brinjal, grape and tomato. False berries are derived from inferior ovary and thalamus and pericarp are fused as in banana and guava. In case of banana, epicarp and thalamus are peeled off. Mesocarp and endocarp with embedded unripe seeds forms the edible part. In the case of date, epicarp and mesocarp are edible while papery thin endocarp is rejected along the seed. There are some succulent fruits which show variation from the normal berry. These are called becate or berry-like fruits. Pepo, fourth type. This develops from inferior ovary which is unilocular or false trilocular having partial placentation. The seeds remain attached to placenta. The outer ring is very hard as in cucurbits. The next type of fruit is Hesperidium. It develops from polycarpillary syncarpous superior multilocular ovary with axial placenta. Epicarp forms the leathery peeling. Mesocarp is in the form of fibers while the endocarp projects inwards forming distinct chambers from which juicy ingrowth in the form of hair arise which form the edible part or citrus or for example orange and lemon under this category. Amphius sarca. It is derived from polycarpillary syncarpous multilocular superior ovary. In this case, epicarp is woody. The placenta and inner layers of pericarp become pulpy and edible in which the seeds are scattered. The testa is mucilaginous. Example, Aegil marmelos, that is our vilvum tree, and the stone apple or the bilva patra. The next type of fruit is called balusta. It is a berry with an outer hard rind formed of epicarp and a part of mesocarp. The inward foldings of mesocarp form chambers. Each chamber is lined by papery endocarp which encloses a group of seeds. The seeds are covered by edible juicy testa, example pomegranate. Aggregate fruits. Flowers with polycarpillary or apocarpous gynoecium give rise to number of fruitlets as there are number of free ovaries, each giving rise to one fruitlet. Sometimes these fruitlets coalesce together appearing to be a single fruit, but in many other cases fruitlets remain free from one another, forming heteria or aggregation or bunch of fruitlets. An aggregate fruit is classified according to the nature of fruitlets into 5 types. Heteria of achenes. Aggregate of achenes are found in strawberry, rose, ranunculus, lotus, etc. Each fruitlet is an achene, and achenes are hairy. In rose, it is many achenes are present on the saucer or cup shaped thalamus. In lotus, that is Nelumbium species, thalamus becomes spongy and some achenes are embedded in it. In strawberry, that is Fragaria species, the thalamus is fleshy and becomes red on maturation and is the edible part. Then heterio of follicles. Heterio of follicles can be seen in Aconitum, Calotropis and Cryptostygia, etc. In Aconitum, 3 fruitlets from each flower, while 2 fruitlets follicles develop from one flower in Calotropis and Cryptostygia and Michelia, etc. Then heteria of samaras. In Ailanthus, many winged samaras develop from one flower. Then heteria of berries. In Arthropoteris, berries occur in a bunch. In Ananas comosa, that is our custard apple, the berries are fleshy, embedded inside a thick thalamus to form a complex single fruit. Heteria of drupes. In an aggregate, small drupes or drupelets developing from different carpels of a flower and arranged collectively on a fleshy thalamus, example rubus. The composite fruits. A fruit developing from a complete inflorescence is called a multiple or a composite fruit. There are 2 main types of composite fruits. One is sorosis. These fruits are derived from catkin, spike and spadix type of inflorescence. Mulberry, that is Morus indica, fruit develops from catkin in which fleshy perianth encloses dry achenes. In jackfruit, thick club shaped peduncle has the flowers arranged on it. The fertile fruits have juicy edible perianth lobes and the bracts form more or less juicy chaffs around them. The spines on the tough rind represent the stigma of the carpels. Each seed is covered by a membranous testa. In pineapple, that is Ananas sativus, the ovaries are not so conspicuous, edible portion being formed by peduncle, perianth and bracts. Each polygonal area on the surface represents a flower. This fruit develops from a intercalary spike. Then cinchonous. This fruit develops from hypanthoidium type of inflorescence and is characteristic of ficus. Female flowers within the closed receptacle, that is which becomes fleshy later, of the inflorescence develops into achenes, giving rise to a multiple fruit of achenes. Regarding the nutritive value of fruits, fruits are the major sources of vitamins without which the human body cannot maintain proper health and resistance to diseases. Besides, they also contain minerals, salts, protein, cellulose, which protects human body against various disorders. First one is the vitamin C, or it is known as ascorbic acid also. Fruits are richer sources of vitamin C. For example, anona 600 grams, guava 299, citrus 33 to 68 milligram per 100 gram of the edible part. The deficiency causes joint pain, bleeding of gums, tooth decay and loss in energy, delay in wound healing, increased susceptibility to disease, enlargement of heart, damage to heart muscles, etc. Next one is the vitamin B1, that is thiamine. Deficiency of this vitamin causes beriberi, loss of sensitivity of skin, paralysis, loss of appetite, loss of weight and fall in body temperature. Fruits like banana contains about 150 milligram per 100 grams of edible part, apple about 120 milligram per 100 gram of edible part, cashew nut 630 milligram per 100 gram of edible part, almond 240 milligram per 100 gram, and these are considered as good sources of vitamin B1. Then vitamin B2 which is popularly known as riboflavin. This vitamin B2 is important for growth and health of skin. Its deficiency causes loss of appetite, loss in weight, sore throat, swollen nose, etc. Rich sources are papaya, which contains about 200 milligram per 100 gram, bear about 191 milligram per 100 gram, pomegranate 100 milligram per 100 gram of the edible part, pineapple 120 milligram per 100 gram of the edible part. Then vitamin A, that is carotene. Deficiency results in cessation of growth in young ones, night blindness, drying up tear glands of eyes, eruption of skin, brittleness of teeth and susceptibility to diseases. Mango, papaya, jackfruit are the richest sources, which contains respectively 4800 international unit, whereas papaya contains about 2020 international unit and jackfruit contains about 540 international unit per 100 grams of the edible part. Calcium, it is needed for healthy bones and for resistance to infection. Deficiency causes rickets, pigeon chest, tooth decay, ignorability, retarded growth in children. Fruits like lychee, wood apple, dried grapes, orange, strawberry are the sources of calcium. Phosphorus is essential for all active tissues of the body. It is required for cell multiplication of both bones and soft tissues. It also plays an important role in oxidation of carbohydrates, which liberates energy. Fruits like almonds, cashew nut and lychee are the richest source of phosphorus. Then next element is the iron. The iron is an essential part of red blood corpuscles and is the best known oxygen carrier in the body. Caranda, dates, cashew nut, raisin, etc. are considered as major sources of iron among the fruit crops. To sum up, cultivation of fruit crops plays an important role in the prosperity of any nation. Fruits are the rich source of dietary fiber, energy, vitamins and minerals. For example, mango, papaya and jackfruit have the important constituents, the beta carotene, which is the precursor of vitamin A. Fruits have good export potentiality. Fruit farming provides raw material for various agro-based industries. Many fruit crops like mango, bear, cashew, custard apple, ionla, falsa, jamun are shallow undulated soils which are considered unsuitable for growing grains or agriculture crops. Development of cashew and mango plantations on hill slopes where even ragi or nachni cannot be grown can bring additional revenue to the growers. In India, 22 types of fruit crops like mango, banana, citrus are commercially grown. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh are the leading fruit producing states in India, which account for 60% of the total production. Pomology is a subject and a branch of horticulture that deals with study of fruits and their cultivation. Botanically, a fruit develops from a ripe ovary or any floral parts. On the basis of floral parts they develop. Fruits may be true or false. They may be simple, compound or aggregate. They are further classified into many types based on the characteristic features. Fruits are the major source of vitamins without which human body cannot maintain proper health and resistance to diseases. Besides, they also contain minerals, salts, protein, cellulose which protect the human body against various disorders.